Welcome, peoples. It's a very, very, very exciting day for us here at the Pipeline Studios. Big thanks to a New Earth Project and PK for giving us this facility. But today, I have the champ, the world champ, the 2024 world champ, the three-time world champ, now a dad. John Florence is in the house, peoples. We're the only two here, so I'll applaud. But I know you people out there in the online world are applauding too because, mate, you are, for me anyway, and I've been around surfing for 50 years, 61,
crazy.
You know what I mean? From a grommet, buying the magazines, all the way to being an old bloke interviewing the champ. And you have just brought such a lovely, wonderful energy, which is just you. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You feel like you're not trying to be anything. You're not trying to, you're just you, and you've found this really steady path through your life. That's what it looks like from the outside anyway. And that's what I wanted to explore today a little bit is like, where did you come from? You know what I mean? Like, how did you end up being who you are? And, if we could go, let's go right back.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
I mean,
Mum and Dad, where'd they live? Where'd they grow up?
Yeah. I think it's kind of like what you said, though. I come from that just stoked grom looking at the magazines. And growing up here, was incredible. My parents split up when I was pretty young, and so it was like a little bit of a different thing going back and forth between my parents' house. And just, we definitely weren't rich or anything, but definitely fortunate enough, like, my mom figured it out for us to, like, grow up here, which was epic. And I mean, you know how it is here.
How good a job's your mum done, just quietly.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so, I mean, you know how it is here. It's like surf mecca. There's every wave is a wave to surf, and like there's always something going on in surfing. Like, and I feel like growing up here, it's like there's never a bad day in the water.
True.
I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, today's good for downwind foiling now, or oh, the sandbar's good, or the other wave might be good on this direction, and it's just like it's endless.
That is a foundation for a surfer. There is no better, is there?
No, exactly.
And how's the greatness you are surrounded by?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like being here. I feel like I'm always surrounded by greatness. I'm bumping into someone at the gas station or Foodland, or I go, oh, that was Roy Russell.
Yeah, it's insane. And growing up to watch all that, and going to school across the street, and Pipe Masters is going on, and watching like Andy and Kelly and these guys just battle for world titles is just crazy growing up as a kid watching that.
Yeah, and that was normal.
And that was normal, yeah.
And now you're inspiring kids all around the world, mate, with your performances, with your brand, Florence Marine X, your brothers.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing. The whole thing is steamrolling into its own form of greatness.
It's been a really cool run, like to kind of have like my just whole career to like look back on the whole thing and see go from like this like really excited, just love free surfing and filming, and then started competing, and I felt like for a second competing like wasn't my thing, and I was losing a lot, and I didn't think I was ever going to qualify, and then like one thing kind of led into another, and I had a couple good events, and all of a sudden I was on the tour. Really distinct sections, I feel like, in my career of like going like, okay, now I got to learn. I'm on the tour. I've always wanted to win a world title. It was like when I was a kid, that was my dream. I should probably figure out how to surf heats. And so like, and then just going all in on that, and I feel like that's what I've done my whole life, is like whatever section of my career that I'm in is just going all in on whatever that moment is.
Fantastic,
so it's
mate.
been cool.
And what does all in mean as a surfer? Are there components to what you have done to date that you go, now that's valuable? For a young kid, if they were to do this or they were to do that in manifesting their dreams, how have you manifested yours?
I think the one thing for me has been like setting a goal and then going like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm committed to it 100% this year. I'm going for it. I might not win. And if I lose, I'm not going to die or anything. Like, it's not the end of the world, but I'm going to go for it. And so with that thought, it kind of relaxes me and just goes like, win or lose, like whatever happens, my goal is to be committed for the year. And so once I like commit into it and like work out like a process of whatever I'm going to work through, and so take last year, for example, was like, okay, I learned a lot the previous year, and I kind of took the previous year, like, I was like, okay, the previous year was getting ready for last year, in a way, for me, and had a lot of ups and downs and stuff, but I just kept thinking, like, okay, no, like, I'm getting ready for next year. I'm getting ready for next year. I kind of had a really good plan in my head of what I was missing the year before, and I was like, okay, I want to have a PT with me on the road. I want to have good food. I need to be eating really good as I can, a nutritionist. And so I kind of went all in. I was like, I'm going to have a cook, and I'm going to have a PT, and I'm just going to go all in. And it's so nerve-wracking in the beginning, because you're like, in surfing, it's not like, I feel like that's not a thing everyone does, you know? It sounds extravagant in a way. But you look at other sports, and that would be on the lower end of what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's pretty crazy. And so when I look at it like that, I was like, no, I'm going all in. I want to be the best at what I'm doing. Yeah. And it's a little nerve-wracking to do that and be okay with it. But
and be okay with the fact that you all in might not be good enough still.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think just committing to the process, and that being almost part of the goal is like, I'm 100% committed to the process.
Yeah, focused in the process. Yeah. The goal is a spot
I know
down the line.
I know what the goal is. It's over there, but I'm focused on what I'm doing. I
don't have to live in it and have it on the bedroom door, win the world titles every time I brush my teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's ideas in and around that stuff where it's so overwhelming. Where I always say that, like, I look at that. How does that happen? I can be talking to you, not even thinking about it, and put in the most subtle request, and all these nerves and tendons and muscles go into this intelligence machine, and just start doing things that I'm not even in. I'm like, wow,
it's crazy.
It's crazy, mate. It's so capable, isn't it, of all sorts of shit, which is what you prove, mate. So I have that same respect for being invested in the process and knowing that this knows what the goal is. Yeah. I don't even need to try. It'll try without me.
Yeah, exactly.
I had that experience competing.
I know that I want to win this. Yeah. That's the reason I'm here.
Yeah. I can forget about that. Yeah. That's beautiful, mate.
Yeah, and so I think, and when you have that pretty clear goal and where that direction that you're going, it's pretty easy, whether it's positive or negative, but to block out the rest of it. Yeah. And that can be hard sometimes. That can be hard with family. It can be hard with a lot of things, because you sacrifice time. You sacrifice time with friends. You sacrifice time with family. And I think you just have to be kind of okay with that and be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going for it. It's 1 year of my life, and I'm gonna do it. Yeah, 1 year of your life. Yeah.
How many years has it been now that you've been competing since you qualified on the World Tour?
I think I qualified mid-year of 2011.
So with 13 years in, how many of them were spent injured?
Oh, man.
Don't bring up the past.
I think it was 2014, maybe 2014. One of those early years, I injured an ankle.
I remember that.
And then it was... Actually, might have even been 2012, missed a couple events, 2014, and then got really committed to competing in 2015, 16, 17, then 2018, 19, 2020, or to 2021, all injuries
all
out.
Struggling with some kind of, and that year in Brazil, bro, you know, and then when you consider all of that and put it in the context that you're on 3, and you're with Andy, and you're with Mick, and you're alongside Gab, you're in greatness already. You're a young man. Kelly Slater has proven that you can do all sorts of things, take time off. He has proven that if your autopilot becomes so good, you don't almost need to be there.
No,
in that way that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You can be golfing in the lead up or whatever, but still go and do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Kelly's a testament to see like how long you can do this for. Like, I mean, his last world title was 2011, I think. So how old was he? He was like 40.
Oh yeah, because it's even then a world title at that age.
No, he would have been 39, 40.
I think Mark Richards retired at 26. Might have been 25 with 4.
That's crazy.
And went, that's enough, and talked away. You know, just to give myself a plug. I became the oldest guy to win a CT when I won Rio in 95.
And how old were you?
33.
33.
Yeah.
It's great. So it's actually gotten older and older, huh?
All the time.
Because even Mick
And
was
and younger and younger.
won his last world title at 34, 35.
So that was, Peter, I was hanging around like an old bloke hanging around, and starting to learn with the idea that I may never win again. But we need a few more bucks in the bank before we can stop this thing.
Yeah.
And that's on to the entrepreneurial spirit. And I appreciate that insight, because for the grommets out there too, it's simple, mate.
It really is. That's the thing, is it's pretty simple.
And it's just the courage to be committed.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
It's simple, but it's the courage to like trust in yourself and trust that like I may lose, I may win. I'm gonna figure out whatever happens at the end of it is gonna be what it's gonna be. But that's it. Like having the courage to trust in that it's gonna be okay.
That's it, mate, and that's the reality of every step forward in life, isn't it?
Yeah.
In reality.
Yeah.
I'm really, say you're in the car with someone, you and I are driving along in the car, and I see the parking spot where I'm going to park.
Yeah.
Right. My destiny is aligned with that parking spot, and the person next to you goes, "Oh, there's a spot right there. Park there. Park there. There's a spot." And I sit there in my mind and go, "I'm a grown man. I do not need to be shown a parking spot. I saw that parking spot, but I'm going here." And I stick to my
you stick to your path.
Yeah, that's my destiny is on that path.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I get grabbed and dragged into that parking spot, my destiny's different.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't in control.
Yeah.
I wasn't holding on to that. So I'm super conscious in that sense. Which isn't so good in relationships. Isn't so good when you're holding your line so tight.
Stubborn, huh?
Yeah, but your destiny's on that line. Is how I feel.
Yeah, totally.
And then I love the entrepreneurial spirit of the modern day surfer.
Yeah.
I love your brand. I love the fact that you've invested back into the sport, back into your own future. You're with your bros in this brand together. You've got wonderful people who I've worked with all them people. The majority of them people as early as you didn't, known them for a long time. You've got fantastic people, and the surfers, the athletes, are smashing shit up.
It's crazy. It's such a cool time in the sport for things like that to look like outside of whether you're just competing or just free surfing or whatever it is. Like, looking at my brother, for example, and like what he's been able to create and do and create this like thing where he's surfing and doing what he loves and being paid for it.
Mate, it'd be very easy to be your brother and not surf.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to see the way he has stood up, invented, created, imagined, and done his own thing, are there parts of that you go, stuck on this tour? How long do I committed to that goal? Because my brother might be having more fun than me.
Sometimes when we're sitting in Portugal and it's onshore and hailing and he's standing in clear blue 20-foot barrels in Fiji, I'm like, wait. No, I like to surf good waves.
No, I'm committed. I'm committed to the goal.
But to be honest, though, like Nathan loves what he does, and he loves the editing, and he has the personality for it. And for me, it's like I don't have the personality for that side of it. Not that I don't have personality, I just don't love that part of it. Like for me, I don't get a lot of good energy out of it, and so he gets energy out of it, and it keeps him going. And so for me, I like focusing in on something and like blocking everything out and being in my own little world, which is what competing has like allowed me to do. It's allowed me to create like a bubble almost and go like, okay, like this is what I'm doing. I can focus in, I can block everyone else out. And I love it because I can go work on boards for an hour by myself. And that's my favorite part of it, and I'm just out there and just like, 30 minutes on one board, go in, watch the clips, 30 minutes on another board, go in, watch the clips, and just doing it alone. And I like doing it by myself. That's where I get energy from. And so the tour has always really worked for me in that kind of aspect of it. And then that free surfing and filming just for parts has always worked too, because you're just out there kind of doing your thing, working on one air or working on one maneuver, and it allows you to create a little bubble.
So my dad, you might not know, but my dad died when I was 11.
Oh, wow.
And so he was a policeman. Yeah. And he died coming home from work, went to overtake a car at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night on a Wakehurst Parkway, this dark road, no lights. He's on his big Triumph Stag. It swerves, not knowing my dad's there, to miss a bandicoot Just a little
Oh my
marsupial, mate.
god.
Takes Dad out into the tree, bang dead. And I wake up, I'm in bed asleep. The day before, we'd all gone fishing. We bought my dad. We weren't rich either, mate.
Yeah.
My dad he was an orphan. He created his family. He had his 3 boys. He bought a little tinny, and we went out fishing in the tinny on the pit
That's
water
so
and
fun,
had this
yeah.
wonderful day. And he says to my mum, he rings Mum that night from work and says, before she goes to bed, and says, the best day of my life today. It was fantastic.
That's so
Hanging
cool.
with the boys and the family on the fishing, and I'll see you in the morning. He don't see you in the morning. And I'm asleep in bed, and I hear the tears and the crying and the wailing of my mum.
Yeah.
And go, oh no,
Yeah.
and roll over and try to go back to bed.
Yeah.
Because I'm just scared to get up and go face the world.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But and then I'm taken to the veranda and told that I'm the man of the house now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm 11. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But I was already surfing, and in my mind I was like, if I can turn that into my future, and my mum never has to think about me in a day in her life, and I go and do that thing, and she can look after my brothers, that might be the best I can do.
Yeah.
And so I went into my bubble, mate. Deep.
Yeah.
But there was a responsibility accepted for my life. I've been financially independent from 11.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've never went to my mum. She never went. She never went to a contest. No, you know what I mean. Never went to contests. I was hitchhiking to them and jumping in rides and just out in the world on my own.
Yeah.
But the responsibility I had to accept.
Yeah.
And you as a bigger brother in a separated family.
Yeah.
Do you think that created responsibility and understanding and things in you that helped you to be you?
For sure. I think it's kind of what you said. It makes you go into that focus mode, almost of like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do this. It's like a focus bubble, right? You're just like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
And I'm in control.
Same. I'm in control, and that's what I got to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to drive her.
Yeah.
Yeah, to my future, to my dreams.
Yeah.
It's very cool, eh?
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's talk about Nath winning the Pipe Masters.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Hey?
Yeah.
What a moment that was.
Watching Nathan win that, and he's doing the live thing himself, and he's down there all day for like 8 hours a day, but it just creates this energy around it, and it's pretty fun to watch.
You can do it any way, mate.
Yeah.
If it's your way and it's right and it's your moment.
I think that's what it is. If it's your way, then it's the right way.
Yeah. And you're putting yourself, even if it doesn't turn out, like you said in the accepting of responsibility, if it don't turn out and you fail, it doesn't matter because you put yourself there.
Yeah.
And you're there because you need to learn where you put yourself. So you can live beyond right or wrong or good or bad if you've done it to yourself.
It's the accepting that I could lose, I could win. It's just, but I'm committed.
Like, the car might get me.
Yeah.
The shark might bite me.
Yeah, you never know.
So it's radical out there, isn't it? And the fragility of life. That's what I learned early with Dad.
Yeah.
I learned that, mate. I value every...
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
We're alive. We're in the game.
Yeah.
The chances of us being in the game from the interaction between our parents and getting off the bench and having a chance to live is a miracle.
It's a miracle, yeah.
And then to turn it into something.
And like I learned a lot through my injuries too, and just like because I had so many back to back to back, but it was like they always felt like such. Even after 2 ACL surgeries, I was like, you go into this mode of like, can I win again? Like, can I perform like what I was performing at? And you have all these questions, but like to be able to, and I think you just keep going. Like, I'm just gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep setting that goal, and I'm gonna keep going. And I don't you just don't care. You're like, okay, I don't care if I lose or if I win. I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah. That's it, mate. What about your influences early? I saw on the gram a little thing about your favourite surfer, and you go Tom Curran. And you said the other day, yeah, wherever that popped up from, and you not Kelly Slater. You go Tom Curran. What were the cruel? What were your early influences, and especially around here, right?
I think when I was young, the early influences of like those guys was Kelly, Andy, and Tom Curran for sure. Like. My brothers and I watched Searching for Tom Curran like every single day.
Right.
Yeah, that was the movie we watched all the time, and so he just became like one of my idols of surfing. Just the way he surfed, the lines he Drew, the way he approached it.
Where everything's sat,
Yeah,
it's just
it's
so
so
poised
good,
and
you know.
beautiful.
And then the next week I'd be like, nah, Andy's my favorite surfer. And then the next week I'd be like, no, Kelly's my favorite surfer. I don't know why my surfing became my surfing. I guess I I kind of admire different surfers over time. But I think growing up here, you get so much opportunity to surf so many different types of waves and shapes and things, and you kind of like do a turn one day and you're like, whoa, that felt pretty cool. Like I was able to get from there to there to there, like, and then back there with speed, like that was cool on this new board I'm trying, like. And so I think that's kind of where it, like, for me really came into play, is like having all the speed and power all the time, and it really allows you to like go wherever you want on the wave, you know. And so it for me, it wasn't as much of like learning to generate speed. It was always like learning to like harness the speed, like figure out how to like control it a little more.
Control yourself in it,
yeah,
because you live with, there's so much of it in that ocean out there. It's crazy.
And then you look at other surfers though, like Italo, for example, and the way he generates speed is or Felipe, and it's incredible. They're like on a wave this big with no energy. And for me now, I look at that and I'm like, oh, that's pretty, it's like something I can work on a lot, you know, and like with equipment and try different things and go, oh wow, that made me go so much faster. But me growing up was just such a different thing of learning how to generate it. Like I just had to figure out how to harness it.
How did you then bridge the gap? Because not criticism, but the only part people could pick in your surfing most probably was your small wave surfing. Right? In terms of as the smaller it got, the more the distance kind of went, didn't it? You know, from up to down, the bigger it got, the more you went there, winning the eddy. You know, so how did you get to lowers? What were the things you confronted? Because you got to lowers and you blew that thing up. The board looked fantastic. You were so sharp, so fast, and there could not be any reflection of that past concept in people's heads about your shortcoming. You know, that didn't exist. How'd that happen?
It's so funny when you're competing because there's so many storylines going. You know, so many storylines going, and you hear one or someone mentions one or talks to you about one, and it's hard not to get sucked up into each of those. But for me, I just kept stepping back and going, no, I love surfing small waves. Like, I really enjoy it. And I know I can go fast in small waves and do all the things I want to do and surf how I want to surf in small waves. I found boards that make me go fast. Like, and so I think I had like a belief in myself that, and like knowing that I've had great years at lowers, like one year getting second and another year in the QS, and just having good results out there, and like whether people forgot about that or not, it was like, for me though, it was like I was like, I know I can perform here, and so I just had to keep reminding myself of that. And I don't know, like reminding myself that I really enjoy that part of it, like because the equipment changes so much, you know, and you feel so much feedback from the equipment, which is, I love that. Like you get on one board and you're like, I'm not getting to where I want to go, and then you get on another board and you're like, whoa, the flow, and it allowed me to surf how I like to surf, like. And so for me, going into that event was like, okay, I want to surf. And I guess the last couple of years, just in small ways, rather than me try to surf like Felipe, I try to surf like myself, but just in a smaller wave.
Back to the courage, mate. Right? You know, you didn't get him. The storylines didn't get him, right? They're trying to get you.
Yeah, it's hard.
And they're coming from, there's all these different ones, like you said. And Rabbit Bartholomew said to me when I'm a kid, because it's Skinny Bloke from Mossman, and there's Tom Curran, Tom Carroll, Mark Occhilupo, Gary Elkerton, Martin Potter, Derek Ho, Damien Hardman. And I'm going, why do they? He goes, BL, you got to write yourself into the script. And that was exactly Rabbit's words when I was young. And I remember thinking, and I started to pay attention. I call them storylines, and you watch the storylines travel through moments in time and through events, and they get people. You know, but that's where, you know, that's you answered really, in a lot of ways. You just answered that question then, while the storylines are trying to grab your confidence and your sense of self.
And that's maybe the hardest part about competing, you know. I think it really is, because I think about it like this sometimes, like especially when I'm going out for heats and I like show up and I'm sitting at the water's edge and I look at the waves and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I was with my brothers in the middle of nowhere and we showed up at a wave like this, I would be freaking out of my skin, just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I can't believe how fun this is. And so I think when you think about it like that and you take away all those other storylines and it brings you back to you and what you love about that, then it allows you to like surf how you would surf that wave.
Yeah, see me smiling. Makes me smile. That's the story of life.
Yeah.
Manifesting itself through our surfing.
Yeah.
Teaching us our lives through our surfing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and in the every challenge, every swell. How's when the swells come, the people start talking about them 2 weeks out? Just like, with an event coming up, it just must be radical.
Yeah, but you're just like, oh my God, it's going to be 100 feet. It's going to be whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
And if you are centered and stay strong and true to yourself, and at least aware of all them energetic influences trying to steal you from yourself.
I get caught up in it all the time. You know, there's moments where you just get so caught up for a week or two and you're just like spiraling on it, and you're like, go to stand up on a wave in a heat and you're like, I don't even know what to do right now. Like, you get so lost in it, you know. And I had the year before last year, like I had a couple heats like where I just like was so tense and caught up in like the storylines of what I was, and just the injuries and all these things like mixed up, that I couldn't even move. I couldn't even think about standing up on a wave and going like, I'm gonna do a turn. What turn do I like? I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, it's crazy how it just stops you.
Yeah. Oh, mate, thank you for sharing that. See, happens to the best of them. And now, quickly, Ivan on fire too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He's such a fun surfer to watch. It's his style and stuff, especially out here at Pipe. It's like, I don't know, we had this session like a couple weeks ago, and he was like taking us so far under it, and frontside it's kind of hard sometimes, to get the rail in. Like backside you can really get under and you're low center of gravity, you're grabbing a rail, but frontside, the way where he gets his feet and everything, it just allows him to get into these craziest little positions on the wave, and I don't know, he rides it pretty amazing.
Mate, he could easily not surf too. With my two brothers, I'm going skateboarding.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's great on all craft.
It's so fun to watch.
And now you're all together under the banner of Florence. What's the plan there? What's the goal? For me, hold on, people, have a look at this. You know, for a bloke like that, for a bloke with a runway down the middle of his head, hair everywhere else, and a runway down the middle of his head, your hooded rash vest is the best thing ever, mate. Mate, I'm not joking. That's
Thank you.
That is that is an incredible product. And it's because I was wearing hats.
Yeah.
Flying around, the big bucket ones and all sorts of weird. And you put that, when I saw that and I got that, I was like, this is perfect. I wear it under my springy. So if I'm surfing.
Yeah, we started doing that too. It's so nice.
So I've always got that. In the Maldives, I was surfing 2-3 surfs a day, and without that, I wouldn't. I got hours.
Hours. It's crazy. Yeah.
And so that's a great product.
That was a funny one too, because like right before we had started the brand, I was kind of wearing all different kinds of stuff, just feeling different products and stuff. And Nate and I started wearing, because the hooded rash guard's been around for a while.
Yeah.
You know, O'Neill made one, Dakine made one, Patagonia's made a good one.
Yep.
But we were wearing the Patagonia one a bunch, and I was like, man, this is such a good product. Like, you flip the hood back, you're surfing like normal.
Don't even know it's there.
Don't even know it's there, and then like you're sitting out there for like 3 hours, and a big lull comes, and you just put it up, and you're like, oh, that's so nice.
And when the trades are blowing, I've had that thing on and taken it off and gone, ooh.
Yeah,
and it actually adds this element of warmth. I surfed bowls last night with the kids, and the sun's like pouring holes, and I just grab that thing and just pull it down over here.
When I was like starting the brand, I was like, that's something I think we could just like put some. No one's really put energy into it and gone like, let's make a really good one, because I think this is a great product for surfing. They've kind of just, seems like everyone's just made it just to make it.
And there was kind of a kooky thing to it.
Yeah.
So even wearing a hat, I was feeling like a roughneck for sure, you know, but you had to.
Yeah.
But
And so I was like, we're gonna start wearing it every day and see what happens here. And yeah, it's been a funny kind of phenomenon with our brand.
But it's actually core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The core surf.
It's actually more core than not.
100%.
If you want to surf for longer, like, Man.
And you're all going to lose your hair
Yeah.
one day, people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's valuable. And so the brand itself seems more centered in performance products and products that you can wear and adventure in.
Yeah, I would say we're like centered kind of performance, but like we spend our lives in the
Yeah.
ocean, so things built around what we're doing. Like
Yeah.
I know that I can get behind it 100% and be like, this works for this.
And
Like,
you know whether it works
Yeah.
or not. Yeah, because
You
you're
know?
doing it at the highest level possible.
and so I think that's been a really fun take on like an outdoor product. Is like, I think a lot of the outdoor products come from the mountains and they come from this cold weather kind of different area, but like coming at it from this aspect,
Yeah.
I think it just has a cool take on it.
Totally, the proving ground, and then you guys just winning everything, and you know what? And even for Nath, without winning pipe,
Yeah.
still it's so credible what he does every single day.
Oh,
So
it's-
credible, you know. And then you winning on top and him winning on top. It's like, what about your boat? I was
Yeah.
just with Travis Rice on a
Yeah.
little scouting trip,
Yeah.
and he was telling me about, it, and I was thinking, what a gift.
Oh,
Talk
yeah.
about courage, right?
Yeah.
This is because you are sailing off and responsible for yourself floating
Yeah.
around the ocean, right?
Yeah, the boat has been an amazing one. It's like you just learn so much, and I mean, our last big trip we did was like Hawaii to Fiji and then to New Zealand. Days and days of just ocean and nothing else, and you're so far from everything. And I mean, we didn't have Starlink because
Right,
Starlink
right.
makes things pretty like connected now. But
Right.
before the Starlink was going, you don't really talk to anyone. You have satellite messaging here and there, but it's like minimal connection to the outside world, and you're just in your little like capsule, in your thing, doing your thing, and just living day to day.
They're going to start calling you Bubble Boy soon.
yeah, exactly.
Because again, that's the boat's a form of that, isn't it? You're there, you're responsible, you're on your own, you're doing your thing.
I think
it
it's
must
a
be
really
so beautiful.
It really brings you like into the present moment.
Totally.
It's crazy because everything's just happening as it is right then and there, you know, and like it's just day and night you're moving. And it's amazing how far you can go
If you just keep moving.
if you just keep moving.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
So yeah, and then even when you get to like Fiji or these other places, and then you're looking on Google Earth or something, and you're like, I think there might be a wave there, and then like we're sailing along, and then we're like, oh, I think there's a wave here. Let's sail in past this reef, and you sail in, and then there's just a perfect 4-foot barreling left with not a soul around, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Just
like
you and-
literally anchoring off the boat in like an hour, like just surfing, like.
Yeah. So you know what is crazy is that you can do that off the back of you riding waves. You can buy a boat like that and provide yourself the quality of life that you are
Yeah.
providing, and God bless, because I'm so happy for you. I feel like that about now. I feel like that about any kids. When I see kids ripping,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
all the kids around here, like Koa Smith, Koa
Yeah.
Rothman, Mason, Jamie, you, Nath, Eli. There's kids doing stuff, going places,
That's
building
so
their
fun to
life.
see. Yeah.
Oh, as an old bloke, I go, you know, I suppose in a sense I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone
totally.
said to me the other
Yeah.
day, how long you reckon they can live off surfing? And I went, I don't know, 61 maybe? You know what I mean? Because that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
you guys have got a good head start on where I am. Well, it's not easy doing anything and try and save the world at the same time, is it? It's a,
No.
it's a complex
Pretty much
situation.
anything you do is bad for the world.
In some way, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's affecting something.
Yeah.
Some little plant or some animal or something along the way is getting affected and impacted. But a New Earth Project, who we have do the podcast here at the Pipeline Studios, their goal is to rid the world's oceans, rivers and lakes of plastics.
Yep.
And I went, now that's something I can get behind.
It's super cool.
And I feel like that about your brand. I want to support brands that are surfing brands, that are run by surfers, not owned by multinational corporations,
Yeah.
but the decisions are in the hands of people who care.
Yeah.
And you've got a relationship with New Earth Project using some packaging.
We use the Vela bags from New Earth Project, and it's been amazing because it's allowed us to be able to ship all of our shirts and everything in non-plastic bags.
Plastic.
And I actually think it looks nicer when it comes. It's nicely folded, and it's like in this nice packaging. And starting a brand too
Yeah.
around and wanting to be like a big part of sustainability, the best thing to do is don't start a brand, don't make any more stuff. Making things is just bad in general, I think. I look at Patagonia as like an inspiration, and I don't know if you've ever read Yvon Chouinard's book. So essentially what I got out of it, his take on it was pretty interesting in creating a brand that can be an inspiration for other brands to follow in the steps of that and doing something better. You know, you can really make a difference if you do it, and then you, rather than just inspiring other servers, you inspire other brands to do the same thing too. And so I think we're kind of on that and trying to like do our best, and then hopefully inspire other brands to do their best. And I don't know, we'll see.
And it's easier to care when you're a father.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to care when you're a father.
Yeah, mate.
You look at your son and you're like, what's the world going to look like when he's my age?
Exactly, mate. How is fatherhood, parenthood for you and Lauren? Is it?
It's an adjustment.
How's the bubble?
No more sleep. But it's been amazing. Oh my God, when he smiles at me and you're just like, you just melt. You know, you're sitting in the water and you're like, I wonder what he's doing right now. I gotta go in.
Yeah. And then my little boy's 10, and the relationship you build, it's challenge, like everything. It's challenging to you and your concepts.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
All of a sudden, the bubble's kind of got something more important.
It's got something more important in it, and it's hard. Like for me, my whole life has been just so. Everything has about been surfing, and so you
guilty as charged.
Yeah, you take a step back and you're like, okay, surf, but then I want to spend time with my son too, and like finding the balance there, you know, and it's something that I'm definitely learning.
Yeah, no, and we look forward to seeing how that balance manifests itself. We know you love surfing more than anything, and it's given you a wonderful life.
Yeah, it's given me a wonderful life. And the one thing about the kids too is like, my son, like with competing in surfing and stuff, like they came to the finals, and that was the first event they had come to, and so I was really nervous about that.
Yeah,
I was like, I've had this whole great year, and I've just kind of been on my own thing, focusing. And so they came, and we were all together. And at first I was nervous, but like there was so much energy around that event. And then the day I was sitting there before before my heat, like the other heats are going on, and Lauren's there with him, and just holding him before you go, okay, like it brings you like right back down to ground zero. You know, you're just like. That's not as crazy as I think it is. Like this is like what's important, and I couldn't believe how much that part of it had like, just like brought me back to like being like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go surf. Like,
and you could have been scared and said, no, you guys stay at home.
Yeah.
I don't want to change the program that we're on. It's too much at risk right now, and not had that opportunity to go. Wow.
And I swear it ended up being one of the things that allowed me to be able to like relax and surf, because like the pressure in that event's incredible. So, yeah, like having them there, just seeing his face and my wife, and just us as a family there, it's. Yeah, just being one of the things that like allowed me to do what I did.
Yeah, mate. You just keep stepping courageously forward, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I take from today. In the face of all the, you know, whether they're storylines or storylines in your head and paranoia and fear and all the things that go on inside the craziness of our heads.
Yeah.
And that, I suppose, you know, in a time of mental health issues that didn't exist when I was a kid, like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't listen too much to this thing.
But imagine the story, like we talked about the storylines, and you have social media now. Like,
imagine it.
Imagine how many storylines you have coming in a minute. It's just nonsense. It's crazy.
Just trying to buy your consciousness at every turn, mate.
That's crazy. So your mind is going like a million different directions at once.
Mate, we hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head, because I grew up without phones.
Yeah.
I remember television coming in.
Yeah.
And having a television you got to watch once a week or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And now the bombardment of storylines and things stealing your attention from present moment and your own objectives.
I think it makes
dragging you around.
It makes it hard for people to remember who they are, or know who they are, or know what they want.
Yeah, no, 100%, because you're getting dragged in all sorts of directions that you're not even aware you're getting dragged in.
Exactly.
By the thing that really, for a young kid growing up today, he didn't grow up and that's normal.
It's crazy.
Crazy, yeah. We've got some thinking to do and some management to do, and it all comes down to the parents.
Yep.
It's the responsibility of the parent to guide their child through the quagmire of
And
the
I'm
bullshit
learning,
of the commercial
I'm
world.
learning how hard and scary and everything it is.
It is, mate, eh?
Yeah.
You're responsible for another being's
Yeah.
existence.
And they're molding them to what they become.
Yeah. That's why my kid's homeschooled.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anyone moulding him. I'll mould him,
I'll
thank
mold
you.
them,
You know what I mean? He'll be fucked
like,
up in my image.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's it's with consciousness though, and
Yeah.
awareness that you're a chance.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Without being conscious and aware in the midst of all this shit going on around you, you're a ping pong ball getting.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're a ping pong ball.
Yeah, and until you center yourself in something like the hug of your child.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate having you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And whichever way this goes, the people of surfing, they love you of who you are, mate. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
That's, while you rip the bag out of it, the reality is you match that with personality and class and dignity that's good for the sport, good for everything, mate, and we appreciate that about you. Thank you, peoples. Thank you, A New Earth Project. PK's back there. Thank you, mate. And thank you, peoples, for watching. Thank you to John. Love yous all.